Good evening. It is Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, and welcome to the final episode of the Hall of Fame Club podcast. Tonight, we look back at 2024, and there's always next year. Talk about things coming up for the next season, what we'd like to see, what we'd like to change, and all that good stuff. So, how are we, fellas?
Well,
Everybody's on mute.
well, I'm not on mute, but Keith is.
Not anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sad Red October is over. Clearly ended way too soon. It's bummer. The ritual's over. We all kind of have this thing where we've taken for granted now for the last 2 years. So I am super bummed about that. This is coming from you guys are up there with me. I think I'm 155 plus games this season, either listening or watching. There are a few I had to bail out on or couldn't watch, but I'm talking, pretty much it. And it's a lot of work to put in. Even 100 games is a lot of work to put into a season. So that it hurts, right? Hurts a lot. How are you feeling, Chris?
It is what it is. Like I said, we all thought the Phillies were going to get to the NLDS. Like Nick Castellanos said, Phillies were the better team all season. Unfortunately, the Mets were the best team. These 4 games, this series. We'll get to the cap at the NLDS, but what a crazy show that was. That I don't know what to call it.
We had a kind of like, I don't want to say an argument here, but I do think we were beat by the better team, right? And you might want to argue it with me or anything like that. We might LOL Mets it all day long. We might make fun of them for having a singing player and a grimace thing. And we do all that, right? But when it came down to it, they fundamentally played way better baseball than us. There's no shame in admitting it. You have to admit it, because if you don't know what you need to improve on. Right. And one of the things that is highly debated and improving upon is let's cut to the chase. Let's get right to this hot topic for a lot of people, and that is getting rid of management. Before we get into what the actual decisions are going to be, where do you guys stand on management? And what are your overthoughts? How do you grade Topper, K Long, all of the coaching staff? What's your thoughts?
Well, first, I think Topper relies too much on his other coaches, and doesn't follow his gut. These guys tell him what to do. And he was throwing everything he could at the Mets and couldn't figure it out. That the problem really came down to the pitching, and more importantly, the bullpen pitching. I think Caleb Gotham broke this team. He had a great regular season, and then I think whatever he's doing, I think it overdoes these guys, so they're not ready for the postseason. And I think that's the biggest problem, especially in the bullpen, when you got these younger guys that don't have routines, don't have things set up. Wheeler, Nola, they led those starters. Even Taijuan Walker, he knows how to get ready, just because he sucks when he gets ready, but he knows what to do, and he can impart some of those procedures and methods that he would use to get ready, and keep his arm strong throughout the season. So like the starters, I think, kind of stuck together and kind of helped each other where they had to with trying to get to the end of the season and had to be strong through the postseason. It was that bullpen that just collapsed. There's no other word for it. They just collapsed. that's overall, I think Topper was okay. I wouldn't say he was anything amazing. I wouldn't say he was great. I wouldn't say he was the worst that they could have had out there, but he was just okay, and that talent definitely carried him. That offensive power carried and made him look real good for most of the season.
All right. So answer the question. Do you change Dombrowski?
No.
Okay. Fuzzy, do you change Dombrowski?
One, no, and two, I don't know how you sit there like say what you want. Like the Mets came up with some clutch hits.
Yep.
How is that on the coaching staff? How's that on Caleb for telling, Matt Strom, he threw a high fastball to Mark Vientos, and Mark Vientos just had the better. He won the battle. If anything, Caleb should have been like, don't throw a fastball down the middle of the plate to Francisco Lindor before he hits a grand slam.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you sit there and think, well, if I'm firing anybody, I'm firing Kevin Long. I'm not firing Caleb Kaufman. I'm not firing Topper. I'm not firing Dave Dombrowski. Kevin Long's got to go out the door. They're 1-3 in their last 4 playoff games at home because the hitters forgot how to hit. That's listen. I always sit there and say, hey, listen, hitting will always go cold in the playoffs. It is what it is. But we've seen it this year. We saw it last year, and we saw it 2 years ago when they had a 2-1 series lead. You want to blame Caleb Kaufman? I'm not blaming Caleb Kaufman. This, as bad as the bullpen was, they were. They gave up 12 runs in 4 games, as opposed to last year when they gave up 12 runs in 13 games.
Right.
They were horrendous.
Yeah, there was a stretch there.
Your best hitter,
Yeah,
was Nick Castellanos. They pitched to Harper great. Harper did what he could, but you went 0 for the series. They got to get out of a JT Realmuto contract. He got old real quick.
Yeah, that fall off was obviously very quick.
That meniscus killed him.
Well, I want to say we saw that in 2023. This is it, but it didn't decline until the second half, and it just it was here, and it showed its ugly head. So yeah, I'm down with you on that. So do we change management? For me, the answer is just a hard no. It's no, absolutely not. The management.
You're gonna fire Rob Thompson. He's gonna get hired.
Right. He's going to get scooped. Like, he is a players manager who does use analytics a little too much. I will reiterate, I need him to go more with his gut. Buddy, baseball. Go with it. Don't listen to this number horseshit game. You have a really solid squad that can stand on its own 2 legs. Now, we're going to get to by position and whether they should be here next year by position and our thoughts on that. Now, Dave Dombrowski came out and stated that all management has been retained through 2026. So that's not changing. Kevin Long's not changing. They'll tell you the best. Kevin Long's going to go up there and tell you how you should be doing it. Doesn't mean you're going to go up there and do it. There's a reason Stott isn't a 10+ at bat pitch at batter now anymore. And he was there. So we know he can do it. Like, what are we talking about? We've seen it. Like, that was clutch for that for over a season and a half. It just, they're self-admitting in the press at times, and they are saying, we are impatient. We are not doing it right. We are swinging at too much. We are doing too much. They have admitted it. And so that's not on any of the coaching staff. It's literally on them, and they know it. This team needs to be coached by a player manager. Would I like to see Larry Boa come in and do something? Yeah, but they're not gonna. He's good as like the 2 guy for this group of guys. Does that make sense?
No.
No, I think he would. I think good cop, bad cop would be fine with these guys. I don't see a problem with Boaz being like a 2 guy. You apparently obviously don't love him. I'm assuming. Are you an anti-Boa guy?
No, I'm not anti-Boa. I don't need Larry Boa coaching. He's 143. He came with the vet. No.
Okay. Listen, what I'm trying to say is there's a need for a bad cop, good cop situation when it comes down to some of these players. You got to have someone say a little gruff shit, and that's okay. You need to dig into their asses a little bit. That's okay. You're not going to get that from Topper. Topper's the buddy, and that's fine too. And I'm okay with that. I said that, right? I'm okay with it. JV is clearly good with it. You're clearly good with it. I think it comes down to the players, and we should be judging players. So let's go to obviously the easiest spots. We'll go to the pitching staff at the end, but let's go with tried and true JT. What do we do about that situation? Because he has a contract, right?
It's fine. You bring up Mark Hanton. Him and Mark Hanton. Stubbs doesn't need to be on this team no more. I don't need his playlist anymore.
Right. Well, okay. So we've got one more year with this contract. This contract is 24. Let's call it 24 million. We can eat that. We could trade him. I think we can get some trade value. We might have to pay half on that.
They're not trading JT Real Muto.
No one's picking him up, but it's no one's picking him up for that kind of money. That being said, he does have deferred money. He's got $10 million in deferred money. So we pay him even after he's done playing for this team. But who should be our starting catcher next year?
With a veteran pitching staff, you're still going to have JT as the starter. It's just the way it is. You want those guys are comfortable with a guy that knows what he's doing back there. Marchand hasn't been up there enough to prove that he knows what he's doing. He's going to be he's going to take the role of Stubbs. He's going to get the second, the day after a night game type of stuff, the Sunday catcher, that kind of thing. But and that's the only way he's going to learn is from sitting with JT, sitting with these pitchers, and getting up there. He's got to be up there, like Fuzz said. I said it earlier in the season that Stubbs shouldn't have been the guy up there this year. It should have been Marchand all year long. But I guess we needed to hear "Dancing on My Own" more than we needed to have the catcher of the future being a part of this team. Because looking at the free agent catchers, there's nothing.
No, you had to have Marchand down in Lehigh Valley to get at bats to get him ready for 2024, 2025. That's why. There's no reason to have him up here on the bench. He would have went into a decline.
I'm not saying either one of you is wrong. I wouldn't have been mad if you got him started this year as the backup, and I'm not mad that he was at Lehigh. I agree with Fuzzy. He should have been sitting there as third man on the bench for. You should not be eating spots on your team for a third catcher. So, I'm totally in agreement with that. But there should have been a decision made. Either get him up as this year's backup, and they did give him some play time in the first half of the year, and he did get in there. And that's when they split time with Stubbsy for the injury on JT back in May. Look. I'm not upset by any of how they handled the catching position this year. I definitely think the 1-2 slot is okay. I was just asking if you thought should they unload JT? And I get a resounding no from you guys, and I'm okay with the 1-2 of him, Marchand. That's great. First base, we're going to skip over because I think we know what that situation is, and that's locked tight. We'll talk about that a little bit further in the podcast. I saw Eric's comments. I was going to get to that. Let's talk about second base. I think this might be a quick conversation. Are we pretty much okay with Stott staying where he's at?
100%.
Where do you want him to play?
Right.
I mean, there is always the option to float him over to shortstop. I know that infuriates you, me even mentioning that and how terrible he is.
What did I say earlier in the season? I saw Bryson Stott play shortstop, and it made me realize that he's a much better Gold Glove finalist second baseman, and he's a Gold Glove finalist. I'm not moving Stott back to shortstop, and I'm not taking Trey Turner out of shortstop. So we're gonna go right. For me, it's if you're gonna address anything on the infield, it's got to be Bo.
Of course, and that's what Eric wants us. Eric wants us to, let's talk about it. I wanted to go by position, and he's absolutely right. You can't run this back, right? You can't run this back. And so let's give the due diligence. I'm obviously passing over Harper because he is the core of the team. And what are we doing? We're not even going to talk about it. We're not even close to even questioning what he is to this team. Does he need to maybe change what he is to this team? Maybe. He kind of did this year. He became a extra base machine this year. Still with the home runs consistently. So do you change him in the lineup? Do you do lead off with Harper next year? I mean, that I've heard that floated out there is not a terrible idea. He's getting on base no matter what, either with a walk or an extra base hit. So, that's something that has been floated out there as, will you have someone a different leadoff next year? No, it's going to be Schwarber. We all know that. Why are we going to have that conversation? But it's not bad to have either. But yes, I will still argue with you that I have no issue with going into the free agency market for a shortstop and moving Turner to everyday left field. And that there's nothing wrong with that. He's going to be an everyday left field. He'll get up the bat. That's what you have him there for. What you're sighing, and it's almost like you're excusing his poor performance as an infielder as okay. And it's just not. He is a terrible infielder. I want that recognition. You're not okay with it, with those amount of errors he produces. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And you have to acknowledge it. We did not make it past the NLDS, and Turner's fielding is just atrocious. How many errors did he have this season?
A lot.
Let's get into the nitty gritty of how much he was a factor of the infield. Uncomfortable silence.
I was looking for numbers. Sorry.
Yeah. I think there's the Google machine. I think if you actually www.google.com, and then I think that's how you do it. And then you ask it. You say, what was Trey Turner's error stats for 24-25 season? And I'm pretty certain if you just do that, you can really just pull it up. Yeah, there it is. Right here. Got it. Right on first grab. But it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Between his first two years with us, he's got 40 errors. What are we talking about? You have to acknowledge 40 errors in 2 years is a problem, and it should be considered serious to move him to a position where, yes, we can still get the advantage of his bat, and I think he's still a good outfielder. I don't think him being in the outfield, but he can't be a part of an infield ground. It's scary for him. Okay? Scary. I know you don't want to admit it, Chris. I know. You love the guy. If you had a fourth kid, it'd be named Trey. Boy, girl, doesn't matter. It'd be Trey. I know.
Because I'm gonna move a guy who's played 45 games his career into the outfield. It's dumb. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
We're talking about the outfield like it's
don't
some
just
sort
put a
of
guy
like
in the
amazing position. Outfield. Like, dude, if you could play shortstop, outfield is not that problem. Left field, no less. Stop it. Schwarber plays left field. Are you kidding me?
And he played.
I'm not saying he plays it good, but that's where you put the dude. Like, stop. Turner could play left field. What are you saying? You could play left field, bro. I'll throw duct tape, WD-40, and put a suppository up your bum and let you play left field. I guarantee you'll be fine out there. Guaranteed.
I'm not putting Trey Turner in the outfield.
I hear you. You would rather take another 20 errors. You don't mind it. Cool. Averaging 20 errors a season. Great. Great. Let's go to the obvious thing where I think we're all going to come down to. Bohm was benched and was terrible in the field in the playoffs. Oh, and his bat was where? Yeah. What do we do? What do we do here? Are we done with the Alec Bohm experiment? He effing hated this place. Said, I don't really hate it. We're good. And then stopped playing halfway through the season.
Well, I do think he was hurt. Let's not get into like he was hurt. I'm not gonna not. I feel like he's got to be. I'm not just giving up on the guy. He was annoying as hell this year.
Let's talk about that. Let's get into that. Let's get into that topic. That's huge. Talk about it.
Talk about what?
Talk about how he was annoying.
His hits. Well, the way he was, like. So, I just.
Are you having a stroke?
So you think Trey Turner should be benched, or you think Trey Turner should be in the outfield?
Yeah, I thought we moved on to Bohm. You don't agree with me. Why do you like? What's going on?
I don't know.
What's going on? I don't think we're going to see eye to eye on this. Now, when it comes down to Bohm, I think he was just acting like a huge baby this year. Like that to me was JV. Come on. Like, let's be honest. How many times did we see him make a face and you're like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're a baseball, like you put your heart out there, play hard. That's kind of your thing. You're like a old school rah 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 dude out there. No crying in baseball, right? That's JV. We seen him do it as a coach with God. That's how he is out there. Rub dirt on it, walk it off. What do you think of this? Of what we saw from Alec Bohm this year?
Yeah, he definitely was a whiny little bitch throughout most of the season.
Well, there you go.
The problem is that he's going to go somewhere else and perform. Like he still plays decently well for a majority of the season. And, Eric has a point there that he could be the guy that you make an example of, but I don't think he's going to. I think either Rojas or Hayes are going to be the guys that get made an example of. Most likely it'll be Rojas because you're just not doing enough. Those guys. Bohm brings too much to this team for a majority of the season on the field. Like, can you live with it? And then, yeah, I am, Eric. I'm running back with the same infield that is there. I think your outfield was the problem this year. not having it consistent, guys not hitting left-handed, and it was like when the bats went cold, they all went cold, and when they were hot, they were all hot, and it just seemed like Bohm was the hottest of the hot and the coldest of the cold. So, I think that infield is set for next year.
Unfortunately, to my dismay. And I
Unless-
I think
Unless
going
they're
to
gonna
the
spend the money to go after Bregman. Bregman's going to be another 20 to $25 million guy, and he's the only free agent third baseman that's worth even talking about right now.
I was just about to say Bregman is
So,
the
like-
only one on my list that I would probably consider
But-
even looking at.
With the money they have tied up in Harper and Turner, I don't know if they're necessarily going to go after a high target guy like that.
Yeah.
Even Soto, I think Soto would be a great fit for the outfield. You move Nick over to left, Soto and right. I don't know if they're going to go spend the kind of money that Soto's going to want because he's young. He's 25, 26, something like that. So he's going to want that Harper money. And,
Yeah, so the reason I kind of cleaned up, I personally would like to stick with Bohm. Yes, whiny B, as you said, it is a problem this year. Dude, what are you doing? You're looking silly. You make a lot of money. Stop it with the phases. I can point out just as many times as you didn't do what we get it. You're mad with yourself. Don't be mad, be better. Right? When my kid cries about video games, you can't cry. Video games is for fun. Get good or don't play. Okay. And so the reason I'm looking at moving, and so Chris, I want to be realistic here. The reason I'd stick with Bohm and then do the Turner move to outfield and look for a new shortstop is because the shortstop market this year in unrestricted free agency is it's in our favor. We could pick up a lot of cheap talent right now. I think you could pick up. I think Willie Adames is a free agent this year. You're never going to get the shortstop from San Diego. He's
Yeah, but Willie Adames had more errors. Willie Adames had more errors.
he did not have
Go ahead.
20 plus errors this year.
Yes,
But
he
you
did.
still-
he had 20
yeah,
to be exact. 20.
Yeah.
yeah,
But like you
If
can
you
get
could have take out free agent contracts. Let's make every shortstop available. Who are you going after?
I want that dude. I want San Diego. Kim. What's the
Ha-Sung Kim.
Korean guy. Ha-Sung, right?
Ha-Sung Kim. Yeah.
Yeah, Ha-Sung. I want him. Dude's a stud. Stud.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're asking me who I want, that's pretty much who I want. There's
guy
also
batting 233. Guy batting 233 with 403 at bats. That's the guy I want. Has under 100 hits. Sign me up. Do you realize how ridiculous that sounds?
yeah. We're
Do you
talking
realize how
about.
ridiculous that sounds?
Who else
Right
I'm
would
not
you
now?
go
giving
He's
up.
not even a free agent. He's not a free agent.
That's why I asked the
Arbitration.
hypothetical.
He
There.
just asked, right? And I think he is. I think there's
No,
I think he is a free
He's got
agent.
a club
Club
mutual
option.
option. Mutual
Club or
option.
mutual.
Mutual.
Then he's a fucking free
Arbitration.
agent, dude. Stop up. He's a free agent. If it's a mutual,
He's arbitration eligible in 25 and 26. He's a free agent in 2027. I'm looking at Baseball Reference right now. Did you think I pulled up his batting average because I knew Ha-Sung Kim's stuff off the top of my head? I'm not that good.
Sometimes.
no. If he's
No.
mutual,
would you
he's
put-
mutual this year, that's not arbitration.
4 years, 28 million, 21 to 24. Arbitration eligible in 25. Again, we always look at baseball contracts differently because they're not the same as the other teams.
What?
Not the other sports. I'm sorry, not other teams. Other sports.
Okay. But he's in his 2025 year. I'm looking at it right now. I just pulled it up. His 2025 year, he's not in arbitration. He's in a club player mutual agreement option year. And then 2026, he's an unrestricted free agent. He has another 1 year to keep his $7 million. That's what it is. 28 could be up to 30, and then he could get cash annuity for 2. Jesus Christ, what a good contract. How the hell did he get that? All right,
Would you
besides
put
that,
Ellie De La Cruz up there? The kid from Cincinnati.
I
Would
mean,
you
yeah,
take him over Turner?
yes, De La Cruz.
29 errors.
Yeah, but I'd still take
29
it for his
errors and
bat.
a 950 fielding percentage. And a
But for his
950
bat
fielding
alone,
percentage.
for his bat alone, we're talking. I'm replacing him for his bat. Hold on, Turner goes to
Whoa.
left. Turner goes to left. He could play it, and you put a second bat in behind with De La Cruz. Yeah, just
You
stack
have
your
30
lineup.
more, but you have the same.
You're trying to move Turner because of his
But if I'm
errors.
getting De La Cruz, who's how old is he? 20.
No.
Why not put De La Cruz in
You
left
said
field then,
you
or put
want to
anybody
move
else?
Trey Turner because of his
Because of his-
errors. So you're
Yeah.
getting a guy who commits more errors.
Okay. So
6
then not
more
De
to
La
be
Cruz.
exact.
So then not De La Cruz. Like also,
I
how many
think- I don't-
games? How many games was De La Cruz? No, you're extrapolating. Like Turner was
No,
out
no,
for like
I,
6
listen,
weeks.
before we even get in there,
No way.
before
You
we
have
even
6
get in
weeks
there,
of
I
games.
averaged it out. It was 6 more errors. It was 6 more errors. It would have
How
been
did you
6
average
more
it?
errors based on the putouts over a 162 game season. I already did that before I started this debate. I don't
I
think
don't
you
believe you.
realize
I don't believe you. You can't math.
that's fine. You don't have to believe me. Okay, that's the one thing I can do, Rayman. I don't think you realize how many errors shortstops make. I don't really think people understand how many. There's not Jimmy Rollins anymore. There's not Omar Vizquel. There's not Cal Ripkins anymore. Errors are made at a rate for shortstops at a very high rate. Willie Adames had 20. Would you say was it 20 errors? I think it was. You said. Willie. Here we go. De La Cruz had
The
29
top
errors.
5 guys.
Orlando
The
Cruz
top
had
5
26 errors in 135 games. Gunnar Henderson had 25 errors. He was probably your best one. Willie Adames had 20 errors. Jeremy Pena had 19 errors. Errors happen at shortstop, and I think we're just focusing on it because of it's Trey Turner and your argument since day one of the 2024 season, or more like the middle of the 2024 season, is that for some reason you want to put a guy who's played 45 games, his however many careers in Major League Baseball, into the outfield. You just can't put a guy in the outfield. Not everybody is going to be Bryce Harper, where Bryce Harper flares to first base. For some reason, Harper just flares to first base. It makes no sense. He shouldn't have been as good as he was. It makes me wonder what the hell was going on that Rhys Hoskins never learned the position. I mean, let's be realistic. It never should have happened. Does anybody disagree with me with how good he played?
No, I disagree the other way. Like the way you're saying you're some unbelievable thing by switching positions. I don't think switching from shortstop to left field is a stretch. It's really
Right.
to me, it's not.
Then if it was that easy, and I'm going to use a football reference, why don't you think left tackles go and play guard? You just can't do it when you do it your entire career.
Yeah, why can't a cat be a dog? Can you get me another reference that doesn't translate from football to baseball? Like this is like another. Those are two different sports, and there's a whole reason behind the left tackle and a guard not being interchangeable.
There's a whole reason why short
speed, a size difference. Like I can go on if you want to go why those two things aren't interchangeable. There's a million reasons why.
Listen,
But those aren't the same arguments. You telling me Trey Turner can't run a ball down in the field? He's built just like Rojas.
But there's no one to play shortstop. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Now, okay. There we go. Boom. Okay, if you're saying there's no one good enough to replace Trey Turner, I'm with you on the argument. I'm on the fuzzy train here. Like, I get that. But you just saying it doesn't make sense to move him out there because you don't love the idea of it. Well,
I'm not putting a guy who hasn't played the outfield his career out there. And then when he makes 10 errors, what's it going to be? Make him a DH? Make him a catcher? Like no. Errors are made at shortstop. It's just part of the game. It's with the analytics and the statistics now, it's just more recognizable. Again, not everyone is the ridiculousness that is that was the Omar Vizquel, the Cal Ripkins, the Jimmy Rollins. We got spoiled with Jimmy Rollins. You know, not
everybody is a not everybody. Let's go like today. Not everybody is a Dansby Swanson. Not everybody's who's with the Rangers, that guy.
No.
Corey Seager. You're not like Corey, you're not a Corey Seager, right? You're not. So like those are like, I get it. Like those guys are single digit error guys. They never make mistakes in the position. Yes. I get really nervous with Trey there. Like he's the sloppiest shortstop I have seen on this team that I can remember in 2 decades, 3 decades. So it scares me, right? He scares me.
You missed Desi Raw for years.
What's that?
You missed Desi Raw for years then.
No, the Desi years were like obviously, but that was like that's why I said 20 years really. And Desi to me was like the cusp of like, you know,
I mean, we got spoiled with Jimmy. Can you name the shortstop before Jimmy Rollins?
Yeah, remember that whole. That's so funny. You remember the conversation we had about like offloading Jimmy, and everyone was like everyone who knew about baseball at the time were like, for who? What are you talking about? Like, who are you getting? That was at the time there was zero market for shortstops. Like that. Remember, it was like super. It was crazy. Oh my god, that was. Like for 4 years, it was like you could not find a shortstop anywhere. All right, let's get into the outfield. Let's go to left field. And furthermore, I guess that means center field too. So would it be easier to start in right field on this conversation, you guys?
No. Nick Castellanos.
The right fielder needs to go.
What do we do about
He's
Nicky?
out.
He's gone. So JV, you want to unload. So are you talking?
Wait, are you serious?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
I was like,
Jesus.
There is talk about if you have the chance to get Soto, do you offload Castellanos to do that, or do you add Soto to the package?
I mean, if you can swing it, you definitely add him to the package. You don't let Nick go if you don't have to.
Right.
But if it's not within your operating budget, then maybe just because of how much he costs, you gotta weigh that out. Maybe he is the one that goes. But I still think to get Soto, you could probably let Marsh and Rojas and Hayes go, and go find another minor leaguer or guy trying to come up.
What's your kind of dream out there, Chris?
Listen, you can do one of two things. You can make a push for Soto, or you can make a push for Trout, with the fact that Trout that Anaheim takes on the majority of that contract. But if I'm picking and choosing, I'm going after the 25-year-old Juan Soto.
Yeah, Juan Soto is. I mean, going to be 30? He's making 31.
He's making 31. He's probably going to make 36.
Yep.
No, that's his salary. He's making 31 this year.
Yeah.
He's making 31. And hey, listen, he's going to go. Probably going to get $36 to $40 million a year. We already know. What's his name? Dombrowski and Middleton will spend money. They don't care about the luxury tax, which is a good thing. So you go, you get that guy. Listen, it's more seats in the stands. It's more revenue. You go, you get him. And then you leave Rojas in the minors. Like that. If that dude can't learn to hit, then he doesn't need to be in Major League Baseball. He's the most. You talk about the frustrating aspects of Trey Turner, the frustrating aspects of watching Johan Rojas not be able to place a goddamn bunt down is the most aggravating and annoying thing I've ever seen in the history of being a Phillies fan. And that's with going a season watching Pat Barrel bat 203 the last season at the vet. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that you might not be comfortable with is if we're going after Juan Soto and that's going to cost us, let's just go ahead and say it might cost us 40 million. Let's say it costs us 40 million a year. We go for 5 years, or he goes with a 6-year deal and we're looking at $240 million or something like that. You know, you guys might have to face the reality that Rojas has to stay in the outfield as an everyday guy. In order to, you know, the argument is you can't pass up on his fielding. His fielding is what it is. He is an excellent fielder. So you may have to deal with some sort of hiding him in the lineup if he doesn't learn how to bat.
If he was an excellent fielder, he would have been a Gold Glove finalist.
And there we go. Is that a segue? Are we segueing or are we not?
I don't know. No, we're not segueing. I'm just saying, like,
okay.
you're talking about his fielding. You know, the numbers, the stats, and the finalists they're in that says he's not a Gold Glove outfielder.
I also happen to think that's because he was a platooner. Yeah, platooner. Yeah, like, and how much opportunities he had to do it. He may not even have met the qualifications for the Gold Glove finalist. So that may be why.
He was a good fielder because he was fast, and let's be realistic. He still doesn't know how to read a ball. He makes great plays because he doesn't know how to read a ball.
Listen,
Because
okay,
that dude reads a ball about as good as Floyd Mayweather reads a book. He just can't do it.
But to Keith's point, he might be the one that, like, between money and his defense and the fact that he can make up for his bad reads with good speed. If you're getting Soto, that might be the trade-off you have to make. Because Marsh might just make too much money.
let's take a look at that contract.
That's what I was just looking for. 766. Well, he's not making a ton.
He's
He's like $20K more. So
already
you can.
next to this.
Hey,
Keep Johan Rojas down there for
oh man, they love that. Read a ball about as good as Mayweather reads a book. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I missed it. How much is B Randon make?
760. Call it 767. And Rojas is 744.
All right. So Marsh, they're both on league minimum.
No.
According to baseballreference.com, that's what they are.
I'm looking at Brandon Marsh. His contract. So hold on. His contract for 2025 is 3.4. He's got arbitration in 26 and 27. And then he's a free agent in 28. So it could go. So he's on a contract for $3.4 million.
No, he didn't sign it. That means he didn't sign it. That means if he's in arbitration 1, they think he is going to sign for that much.
That's his estimated. Yes, that's his.
Okay,
estimate.
His estimate is 3.5. Okay. So that means they could just DFA him then. So if they and you keep,
you're not going to DFA. You're not going to DFA a 23-year-old kid or what? 26-year-old kid.
He's 27, bro. But I am not I'm not mad. Like if they keep him and they do a $2 million and keep Rojas on at the league, he's still on his minimum contract. But
Ross makes like
yeah, keep him Marsh there. Keep him
Ross-
Soto.
arbitration one. They're like they don't even have the rest of it.
Did you get any of that? Did you get any
He's
of
in
what he
pre-order.
said, Jeremy?
Rest of it. That's all I heard.
Yeah, you went all robot on us there, bro.
Estimated for 2025
Yeah,
is 800,000. He's
right,
not in
for Rojas.
Yeah.
It's pre-arbitration. It's not even arbitration one. So
Yeah.
Thanks, Max.
they're gonna have this kid until 2031.
Yeah, listen, Eric isn't too happy with this. I need to roll out. Thanks for tuning in, bud. I know for a fact, and you know for a fact that they may just very well be rolling this back out. Now, do they need to tweak it? Yes, they do.
Now they need to tweak it, and I don't know. Like I don't. It's gotta. It's you can't go with the same outfield. You can't. You just can't.
No, it made a lot of people mad
All right,
for
so let's go to pitching.
a lot of good reasons. You want to go pitching. All right. Let's go starting. Wheels, you're rolling back out?
Nope.
Nah, trading him.
Nah, get rid of that guy. Nola, rolling back out?
I mean, you just signed him to a 4-year extension, 5 years.
Just making sure. Hey, listen, I'm just making sure that even though we have done all that, doesn't mean we can't use them for anything else to expand something. I'm asking you.
You're not gonna.
You're
You're not gonna
Okay.
trade.
I'm asking you what you would do. I know they will not trade him. I'm asking you what you would do. Otherwise, why are we doing a podcast? All right, good.
No, stick on that number 2. That's right where he belongs. He's the solid 1-2 with him and Wheeler. So
It's great, isn't it? A nice. They're like, to me. I know I've given Nola some shit for things in the past, but I have really come around to how consistent that dude is. He is who he is. And if the lineup is doing what they're supposed to be doing, you can get wins for him all season long. Yeah, he's just he's impressed the hell out of me.
I'll go one better than you.
Go ahead.
Nolan might be the number 3 next year.
Go ahead.
Sanchez might be your number 2. Sanchez impressed the shit out of me this season. We had that debate all year, all preseason, all spring training. Is Sanchez going to step it up? Is it going to be between him, Walker, and Turnbull? And Sanchez, I know his record was 11-10, but he was really good. And I think with another season, I think with the way he pitched, and again, I'm not comparing it. I'm just saying almost how Cole Hamels was in 2008. That changeup is absolutely ridiculous. And now he's going to have a whole offseason to work on it. He's probably going to have the best change. We'll do our predictions for 2025 in February. He might have the best changeup in all of baseball in 25.
I mean, you did definitely one up me by saying that just because of all that, he's your number 2. I think that's ridiculous. No, I mean, Nola's still goddamn Nola at this point, and
but like seriously, say he has a really strong spring training and he comes out as a number 2 starter. Would you be shocked?
Yes.
Given the season he had this year, you would be that shocked. Oh,
Nola.
man.
Yeah, Nola to me was still. Yeah, Nola to me. But you're talking to a recent Nola convert. So, and I should have loved him for the last, almost 10 years now.
No, you shouldn't have, because he was very frustrated.
Correct, and I've been living through that frustration, but now I see.
Nola would make me want to throw a rock through my TV.
But it's so wild how consistent he is. Like at the end of the season, he is always on the number. There's very rarely deviation in his stats from season to season. You should look it up. It's kind of spooky.
The best. Hold on, real quick. The best part about that comment is during one of the Phillies playoff games, whatever one they lost, my wife sent me a text. Says put it in the cart, and it was like a new 65-inch TV. She's like, my foot's about to go through my new my TV. I was like, well played. I'm like, sold.
Aaron
New
Nola
TV?
is Nick Castellanos of the pitching staff. He's gonna
What's
go through
that,
those
Aaron?
numbers. He's
Sure.
gonna frustrate the hell out of you, but at the end of the year, you're like, thank fucking God he was there.
Yeah. If almost like someone on this podcast had foresight to see that. All right.
Nobody likes a
Sanchez,
bragger.
we
Oh, congratulations. Every squirrel gets his nut. You were right about Nick Castellanos, who was 0 for April and May. Congratulations. I'll give you that one. You had more hits in April than Nick Castellanos did.
let's talk about, we clearly already I think we did hit up on Sanchez a little bit. We are very excited to see him come back out and show us more of what he's got. Yeah, that curveball is just one of those nastiest things you've ever seen. It's deadly accurate. You can almost call when it's coming out. You can almost tip, he almost tips it, but at the same time, you can't do nothing about it. It
It's an
jams
unhittable
guys
pitch.
up every time.
Looks like a fastball, and then you're.
And he just accidentally hit goodbye. Okay.
Yeah.
So there he is.
And he's back.
There he is. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room, Taijuan Walker. What are we gonna do with this?
That's a contract. Listen, that you love you love that DFA. If there's someone I'm DFAing, I'll call the Uber right now.
And when you say I love it, I don't love it. I just know it's an option. So you always have to throw it out there. And Philly is not a DFA friendly team. We don't do it too often. Or we don't go to it too quickly, as I would say. I feel like they would rather work with the players.
We waited way too
There
long for DFA
is
named Witt.
Whit Merrifield was the only, I think, like really the only big one we've had in a couple of years, and that was the only reason.
Didi Gregorius. There is
Not a big name to me.
no way we go in a 2025 season with Taijuan Walker as our number 5.
Yeah, I mean,
I will not watch a game he pitches. Will not do it. Will not do it.
fair.
There's no reason.
Fair.
There's no. Obviously, we know Ranger's going to be the number 4. I have my feelings who's going to be number 5, and it's not Taijuan Walker. No.
Right.
Everyone knows who the number 5 pitcher should be.
If you say it should be a guy, we don't even know where his whereabouts are right now.
It's the guy who just threw a 1-2-3 inning and hit 98, 99, and 100 in the first inning
Okay.
of an Arizona fall game.
Okay. I just want to
That's
make
your number-
sure. What's
That's
that?
who your number 5 is. That's who your number 5 is.
Do we carry the same bullpen?
Absolutely
Right.
not.
No, Alvarado's got to go.
Yeah.
Estevez was a complete nightmare.
Yeah.
And again, I don't. And listen, everybody wants to sit there and rip on Dombrowski. Listen, Estevez was having a good. Again, it was having a good year for a bad team, and it's just the way baseball is. He just didn't. He had a couple good games here and there, but you go out and maybe try and find, the best closer in the game. The best closer in the game blew the game against the Mets in the wild card round. Devin Williams. Do you call the Pirates up and say, hey, listen, I'll give you Taijuan Walker for Eric Bedard and we'll pay $12 million of that contract? Maybe.
The Pirates are crazy enough to do it because that just means more money in their pockets.
Right. And you have a serviceable pitcher. I still put it.
Yeah, one of those big question marks that always comes into play is for me is the guys who were either studs or duds during the season. I'm talking about Strom and Hoffman. What do you do with them? Do you go back to the drawing board to work with them because there is talent there? Or do you let one of those guys go as well?
No. Well, Hoffman signed a contract, or I'm sorry, Strom signed a contract extension during the middle of the season, so he's fine. Well, listen, Hoffman and Strom just had a bad postseason. You have to bounce back from it. You have to.
And what's that look like to a pitcher? How do they get back in the right mindset?
Comes down to coaching.
It does come down to
Yeah.
coaching, but it comes down to listening to that coach, right? To making sure that
Anyone who thinks that no one's not listening to Caleb Kaufman or whoever else, I mean, they're listening to their coaches. I mean, again, he threw a fastball down the middle of the plate that Estevez did.
Just so you know, if you weren't aware, Hoffman's a free agent.
He is.
So he's probably gone, I think, just based on that. Unless you can get him back cheaper than 2.2, which is what he was making.
Nah, somebody's going to sign him.
Yeah.
And one guy we didn't talk about is Turnbull.
Oh, he's a free agent. I don't want him. You got Nickel. There's no reason.
Yeah, there's obviously pitching is going to be the biggest question mark for our postseason, right? I there's no doubt about it. I think we pretty much know that the largest free signing agency is right now Soto. People were dying to get that guy. How many years ago we got Harper, but now to have both of them on the same team at the same time playing together, that would be amazing. I think that deal can be done. I do think we're going to have a major problem with pitching.
I think that bullpen's going to be a problem. And the problem with bullpen in general is the guy could have Cy Young type of year out of the bullpen, which is rare, but could happen.
Yep.
And then the next season, they're absolute garbage. And it's just the way where a guy could be absolute garbage, and then next year he comes in and he's the number one closer. I know
Right.
Chris was talking about Bernard, but he didn't have a great season for the Pirates. You don't know, so you don't know where you're getting next year from him.
Yeah, well, we do have like good things to talk about this past season. I don't want to say it was all a wash. We have quite a few Gold Glove finalists. Chris, tell us what you think of these 3 National League Gold Glove finalists in Chris Sale, Luis Severino, and that's going to be a big question mark, even though most people think it's going to be between these 2 gentlemen. Zach Wheeler, the third one, our very own. Now, Zach and Chris Sale are both Cy Young finalists, aren't they? But now we have 3 Gold Glove finalists. Tell us what you think is going to end up happening with this pitcher's Gold Glove situation.
It's probably going to be. It's probably going to be what's his name, Zach Wheeler. There's no reason why it shouldn't.
He won the NL Gold Glove last year, right?
No, did he? I don't. Well, I thought because I felt like there was a conversation. He wasn't in the finals. Who was it? What the hell? Who the Phillies?
Last
Ranger.
year?
Yeah. No, yeah, he did win it. No, you're right. He did win it. Zach did win it.
Yeah, I could have sworn he won it last year. So he won the NL Gold Glove, but I honestly think the Gold Glove this year is going to go to Severino. So like I do. I think he's going to actually grab it. The dude was just insane on the mound this year when it came to fielding. I think he was involved in quite a few double play, he was just wild. Like if you go take a look at his highlight reel, it was just really good. Do you have a pitch on this one, JV? Do you see any over any of them?
No, I mean, I think either one is really Wheeler and Severino are good choices.
Yeah.
Just looking at the baseball side of it. But I feel like if you're part of a triple play, you should automatically be the Gold Glove winner for the positions involved.
So that's Severino. Right?
What?
No, the Phillies.
Are you
They
talking
did the
about
what? The 153?
Oh, you talking about the one against Arizona? Was it against Arizona? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It is a cool play. That happens once every 100+ years. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. Cool. We don't have
Gold Glove.
Yeah.
That alone.
We don't Right. Okay. All right. So that you think that should give Wheeler the edge over the other two guys. I think Severino defensively was just involved in more plays this year than Wheeler. But you're right. That was a hell of a weird ass play that he got every 100-year play type thing. Let's move on to our next position that has a Gold Glove finalist. Let's take a look, and this is going to go to JV. You can give us your thoughts on this one. We've got Bryce Harpay. I might be French. But be right. Okay, Bryce. This guy's on the Phillies. Matt Olson for the Braves or Christian Walker for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
See, I know Harper made a lot of spectacular plays with diving after the ball, and that usually sways the voters. Is because you remember those big plays.
Yeah,
but I feel like Walker was just consistent all year.
I mean his outs above average at position, I think, led the league, right? Yeah, he had to have. I mean, yes, Harper had some amazing body saves. Oof. I'm just replaying some in my head, and they're just really good. But I don't think he outperformed Harper in outs above average in position. Buzz, I think we're gonna get the homer answer out of you. Who gets it?
Homer answer. I'm the one out of the 3 predictions we did in the beginning of the season. I'm the one who said Bryce Harper would have a gold caliber-esque baseball season.
Yep. Should he win it?
He had a 996 fielding percentage.
Yeah.
Why would he not have it?
So Olson, I think, yes, I think so. Harper has a better art. Oh yeah, but Harper had. You're right. Harper has a better fielding rating than all of them. I think Walker has a better outs above average position, but Olson has the most defensive runs saved per position. So like, where do you lean to? The better consistent fielder or the one that does the most wild plays, or the one that plays the position the best out of all of them? Like where or
well, see, Here's how I would do it. What I would do is
Yeah.
to make Harper better. I would move Trey Turner into the outfield, since Trey Turner is the reason that Harper doesn't have 1,000 fielding percentage. Is that not how that works?
Night Peanut. So like what do you look at the most? Do you look at outs above?
You can say well played. You can say well played. You can say well played. You can say
It really wasn't low hanging fruit. You do you.
Well, so here's my thing. Like here's my thing. Christian Walker had a 998 fielding percentage.
Yep.
Didn't really change from the previous year. Like, he's consistent.
Yep.
And again, I'm not playing homerism, but Bryce Harper worked on his defense. He worked on his fielding, and he was better. He came out better. He was 2 points better this year than he was the previous year. 2 points doesn't seem like a lot.
It's not the most improved
But-
defensive player. Like, that's not the award. The award's for the best fielder, Gold Glove, not who improved the most.
Okay. Did he play?
a
Okay, he
whole
played
different
more
award.
innings and had a better field. He played more innings. How about that? And his fielding was better.
Okay.
All
So
I'm saying is
here
use
we
good
go.
Arguments, not
Here we
stupid
go.
ones.
Olsen played less games than Harper and had more defensive runs saved by like 9 or something, 7 or 8, something ridiculous. So now
I
what?
think Harper's was 3 more than Christian Walker. Listen, if you give it to Nelson, listen, all 3 guys are worthy of it.
Right.
you know,
Do you see how
I
we're
just- like-
arguing this? I was like, I want Harper to win it because it's my guy. Stop it. You stop it and you stop it. All 3 boxes stop saying we don't want it to be Harper. But the reality of it is there were 2 really other great guys at that position. And they may just have been better than Harper, too. I'm not going to be mad if any one of those dudes wins it because they were all awesome this year. First base was very exciting to watch in the NL this year, I have to say.
Listen, I'm giving it to the guy who's only played first base for a full season.
That's cool.
I'm giving it to Harper.
Let's move then to our next position that we have a Gold Glove finalist for the Phillies, and that would be
What's
for
that?
our second baseman, Bryson Stott. Now he's in there with Marte, Ketel Marte from the Diamondbacks, and
He's ridiculous.
right.
He might win.
he's wild, dude. And Bryce Terang from the Brewers.
To me, it's probably Marte.
Yeah, agreed.
So
I seen him make plays this year. He got run over multiple times, stepped on, and he still made ridiculous plays.
I mean, so Marte also is kind of like in the same boat now as Harper, right? Because Marte wasn't like this last year. This is the most impressive defensive improvement at second base of all time. This was not him last year. So, but he was still, he's not that far off from any of the stats from, well, I think he blows away Bryson Stott. I like Bryson Stott at second base. That's not what I'm saying. But I think it is going to Marte just because I don't think he's going to be like this next year. I think this was a fluke year.
Who,
Sometimes
Stott?
that's all it takes to get that award.
Marte. Yeah. That's just my opinion, but
I don't know. I mean, listen, they both played a really good, they both played a really good shortstop or second base. Like I said, the one thing that Bryson Stott has going for him is he played more games.
yeah.
He had more chances, and his fielding percentage was higher. I don't know.
Yeah, I Stott made some really wildly cool plays this year. He doesn't pass the sniff test in terms of he ranks behind every other defensive stat behind Marte and Terang. So I do not think it's going to be Stott. Stott had a great year, and he should be number 3.
Like, think about this. Marte had 109 games started at second.
Yep.
He had 90 complete games, which I don't know what that stat is, but Bryson had 127 game starts and he had 116 complete games. So that's 19 games from opposed to 11 or 11 games. That's a big deal. Like, why wasn't he in there? He's a decent shortstop or second baseman. He was 990 and Bryson Stott was 993. And he went in as shortstop and was terrible. Bryson Stott was such a bad shortstop, he became an all-star second baseman, Gold Glove winning second baseman.
Yeah, but Marte still had more defensive runs saved than Stott. Now remember, that's defensive runs saved for opportunities. So it gets obviously a little, but not by much, right? It wasn't. I'm gonna stop talking about that. I don't really care who wins for second base.
Right, we could sit there and say all this we want about the Gold Glove. Just remember, at that one, Bobby Brady won a Gold Glove. All right, let's go on to the next one.
Left field. We have a contestant and finalist from left field, and that would be let's go Brandon Marsh. He is going up against Ian Happ of the Cubs and Gurriel, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. From again.
Yeah, I'm not voting for him because I'm not voting for him because of his stupid hair. Looks like a chicken hawk. Chicken hawk. What was that show? That Looney Tunes show, the Chicken Hawk? Nah, it'll probably be Ian Happ. Ian Happ was a really good.
I was about to say the fan favorite is Happ. I
don't even have to look. I don't even have to look at stats. And I know
stats.
Listen, Brandon Marsh was a really good outfielder. I know Ian Happ was better. I know Gurriel wasn't better than Marsh.
Nope.
Defensively.
Nope.
I don't even have to look it up, and I won't.
Nope. You are absolutely correct. The only thing Gurriel led in was outs above average. Right. That's it. And so, that's not going to get you
outs above average. What is that? Like explain that to me like I'm 4. Like Michael Scott.
By position. So it's the average of position and how much better. And it's such a tight. So because left field is what it is, it's so tight. You're making pretty much all plays. He will make 3 outs more per average left fielder per game.
Oh, isn't that based? Then wouldn't that be? I don't know. I feel like that's a pitcher. Then it comes down to the pitcher you have.
But this is StatCast error where they've now assigned it by position. That's how they derive the WAR from that. Or maybe they use outs above average to go into WAR. No, it's the other way around. I was right.
When I was thinking of outs above average, I'm thinking of plays that he made that would have saved runs or made plays that shouldn't have been made. That's what I was thinking. So
OAA, which is outs above average, is I believe a part of the WAR, which is like how productive you are to that position, including batting and fielding. But the OAA is like the part of the WAR is the defensive part of it. If I'm wrong and someone's listening to this and they're like, dude, you totally screw that up, just hit me up and leave a comment because that's my understanding of it. Always I like the new statistical error and it's fractional and all this weird but it's like they use this stat times this stat times this stat all over whatever. I do think it's going to happen. If there's no reason, I can't even believe Brandon Marsh is eligible. How many games did he play?
Marsh is a good outfielder.
I didn't say he's
about
terrible.
Good, about number of games.
Right. I just didn't think he would be eligible. I mean,
left and center. Yeah.
Right. That's what. So I'm kind of shocked for center field. You don't have defensively in there Johan Rojas. But I
Johan
think
Rojas is not a good defensive center fielder
it's because by
because he's
definition,
fast and he can make up his speed.
because by definition it's on balls played correctly, and when he moves incorrectly but still makes it, it counts against you. So they actually score each catch in a certain way to make you like that catch is eligible or not. It's like the SAT, right? You get 0 points towards it if you make the catch the correct way and field it the correct way, but you get points against you if you field it incorrectly, even though you make the out, but you get less points deducted for that. That's the way I'm assuming, right? Because it's on balls jumped, right?
Look at Nick Castellanos. He committed 3 errors this year.
Right. But it's how he moves on the ball, which doesn't get him eligible to be a Gold Glove guy.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Yeah, he just moves incorrectly on the ball, but he always gets to it.
Nick Castellanos' batting average at the beginning of the year is Johan Rojas' fielding all year.
173.
Terrible.
Boys, this is the season finale of the Hall of Fame podcast. We I believe we are cooking something for off season to do something kind of maybe different. We're discussing that, maybe doing a movie podcast or doing something different. I think we may do a one off season check-in. If there's any big signings or anything like that, we'll keep you posted.
Yeah, we'll definitely be around in November for the for free
agency signing. So we'll get in on a special podcast for that. But really, until then, until February, and we have how many days do we got, JV, until pitchers and catchers?
119 days and like 4 hours.
I like it. 119 days, 4 hours. Pitchers and catchers are returning to camp.
2 hours.
119
days.
1 hour 40
minutes.
1 hour 42 minutes. Yeah. I'm good with it. Boys, it's been a wild season. I wish we did walk away talking about the NLCS and then the World Series, but c'est la vie, c'est la guerre. We will get there.
It was always next year.
Always next year. Chris, any final thoughts on the year?
Son of a bitch. I hate the Mets.
That's definitely a final thought. JV, any final thoughts on the year?
Sell the Bucks.
Sell the Bucks. We again, if you guys have been on for this long ride and you've been hanging in there with us and catching us on replay, we do appreciate you hanging in there.
I will say this. We are actually, I didn't have my AirPods in, so I let it play through my computer. And we've had 114 likes on TikTok. We are live on TikTok, so everybody can hear your lovely voice.
Oh, awesome.
Super.
And a decent amount of people have joined. Decent amount liked it. So,
hi TikTok.
Hi TikTok.
So, all right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Again, awesome 2024 season. We will be checking back in hopefully within about a month and a half. Until next season, I'm Keith. We got JV. We got Chris Fuzzy Lahif.
Let's go Flyers.
Yep. Let's go Flyers. Have a great one. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. We're out.